Hi everyone, today I am going to be harvesting my Okinawan sweet potatoes. I've been trying to keep these in the dirt as long as possible because I got a late start on them and because I read that they have a long growing season. It seems to be a longer growing season than normal sweet potatoes. So I'm going to go ahead here and clip off some of the greens, which we've actually been eating the greens. We put them in our green drinks. So I've got two of these buckets, two of these smart pots full of these. One right here, one right there. And these were the ones that I've been really anticipating the most. These are my favorite sweet potatoes. Now these vines are really all up in there. Here we go. There we go. Got some weeds in there too. Alright, so I got all the vines off. And I'm going to switch over and put on my gloves and see how this goes. This is my first time with the Okinawan sweet potatoes. And again, I'm really excited. I hope there's something in there. I hope there's something. Whoop, looks like I've got one at least. Ah, look at that. Looks much bigger than I even anticipated. Wow. I'm wondering if I should just turn the bucket over. Good. I don't want to hurt these. I'm kind of worried about how this is going to work here. I don't want to damage them at all. I'm so excited about these particular ones. I wish I would have had a dirt bucket to store the dirt with. Would be good. I don't know what I can use for that. But I definitely see a big sweet potato showing up here. Yeah, got some earthworms in there too. I'm going to store these dirt somewhere. As opposed to the other big bucket where I could just push the dirt out of the way. I can't really push the dirt out of the way here. And I'll just put it right next to me. Okay. I see one big one. I just don't know if there's anything else right now, but that one looks pretty big. Oh, got another one. This is exciting. Again, these are my very favorite sweet potatoes, the Okinawan sweet potatoes. Get my sweater all dirty. It's a little cool this morning, so got some couple layers on. Wow. Yeah, we got some potatoes. Hopefully I have enough to maybe eat a few and maybe save a few for growing next year, because these are pretty hard to get. I got these from Sand Hill Preservation Center, but you're only allowed to get 3 slips. So, and I have 2 that survived and 1 that didn't, and they came late. So I know thought I saw some on Baker. I know I saw some at Baker Creek. So I've already ordered my 3 allowed slips for next year, and hopefully I'll get some here that I can grow. And because these are really the sweet potatoes these are my favorite sweet potatoes, and these are the ones I'd really like to focus on growing. Okay. Wow, that is a big one down there. I am like amazed. I'm gonna have to get the camera in for a close-up. That is huge. I really was not even thinking. I was thinking they were going to be all small because I had read that the growing season is long, I had said. So, it's a big one. It might be just like 2 or 3 with that one giant one. I want to do as little damage as I can to this plant. going to stop for a moment so I can give you a close-up of this potato that we're starting to be able to see here. It's quite large. Okay, so here you can see the big sweet potato. Looks like it's going all the way to the bottom there. There's one right there, and there's another one right there that I'm starting to show here. See? And it looks to be quite a good size too. So at this point, I think I've got 3. Whoops, there's another one right there. I'm not sure if it's kind of growing together. So I'm going to continue digging this dirt out, and I will show you the next scene when I've got them all pulled out of the dirt. So again, there's a nice big one right there, a littler one there, and another nice giant one right there. So it looks pretty good size. There wasn't a whole lot of them, but they're a lot bigger than I had anticipated them to be. I really did think they were going to kind of be small. So this is really nice. Okay, so here we go. I pulled out the 1 pot of the Okinawan sweet potatoes, and I've got 5 sweet potatoes. 5 Okinawan sweet potatoes. I've got 2 of these nice size ones. This one's pretty big as well, and then 2 really small ones. But I think I'm pretty happy with this harvest. I'm not sure which ones to keep to try to grow, because I want to maximize my chance to grow them again next year, and then which ones I want to try to eat. But I still have 1 more pot to go, and so let's go ahead and get started on that 2nd pot and see what happens there. But I'm happy with these Okinawan sweet potatoes. It's my first time. They're my favorite sweet potato, and we'll see what happens with storing them. Okay, so let's move on to the next bag of sweet potatoes. Okay, so here we are at the next set of, or my next pot of Okinawan sweet potatoes, and I've got to cut the vines off before we harvest. So, and again, we eat these vines, or we eat the leaves, I should say, in our smoothies. We eat them raw. We just blend them right there in with our green drinks or green smoothies, or what's your favorite name for them. Okay. A lot of twisting, climbing vines there. Okay, let's go ahead and cut them. I've got a ground cherry right there next to it, but the bugs seem to get the ground cherries when it was earlier in the season, and now that they're not touching them at all, I don't have anything ripe, and we're stated to get a good freeze tomorrow night, so I don't think I'll get any ground cherries worth eating, which is a shame. The plants right now are in good shape. They took a little frost, but I had them kind of lightly covered with more of an insect row cover. That's a super light row cover. Okay, so here we go. We got our Okinawan sweet potato down to the base here. I did start another experiment, and I'm going to do a video on that one as well. I cut a piece of the vine and I put it in some dirt, because I've read some cases where people are saying that you can grow sweet potatoes from a vine cutting, whereas I've always thought that you had to start a slip to get potatoes. So again, because these are my favorite sweet potato, I wanted to have every chance I can to grow these specifically. So I did take a vine cutting and I put it in the greenhouse in some potting soil to overwinter, and we're going to see if that particular test is going to pan out and if we're actually going to get some Okinawan sweet potatoes from a vine cutting. If that's the case, then that would be even easier, really. Just start them in the winter in the greenhouse and little vine. But in the meantime, let's start going through the dirt here and seeing if we've got anything to harvest. Putting the dirt in a pile here because this was a 30-gallon pot, if I recall correctly. Oh, there I'm seeing my first one. Oh, it's very exciting. And these are my favorite. This was one of my biggest anticipations for harvest. I have a Yukon a yacon plant, 2 of them, that I also need to harvest, and I'm actually going to wait for those till after the frost on Monday to kill off the plant, and because there's a whole set of growing tubers for yacon. So let me not digress too much about yacon, because we're right here working on our Okinawan sweet potatoes. And I'm not seeing like the other one I saw, a big sweet potato right off. I did see one, but it's not right up at the top like the other one. Oh, there I'm seeing something. Doesn't look quite as good as the other one. But I've just started. Let's keep hopeful. Let's keep hopeful. See what we got. The other one, I did manage to get them out without damaging any of them. At least it looks like I got them out without damaging any of them. That's my goal here. I want to kind of dig them out and pull the whole thing out at once if that's possible. Like I did on the other one. Just loosen it all up, find them. I see one, and it actually looks like a giant one too. So I mean, seems to be with these, you get kind of one big one, a small, maybe a small number of them, but a nice good size. That's exciting. These are, I think there's a grass in there, some Bonita grass. Bonita grass, when it gets in something, man, it just doesn't go away. And I don't use any sort of pesticides, or I don't use any sort of pesticides, any herbicides, any of those kind of things. So when the grass gets in, I just got to pull it out. Okay. Let me spare you, and I'll just turn off the camera for now, and I'll show you again once I get a little bit more results here. Okay, here we are. We got down to the base of the plant. I've got, looks at least three big, giant Okinawan sweet potatoes. And it looks like they're kind of into the bottom of the smart pot, so I have to be try to be gentle. Oh, that might have broken. Oh, I hope it didn't break. Because the roots were going right into the bottom of the pot. What we got here. Let's see what we got here. Get the whole thing. I don't know. Okay, so it looks like, can't tell yet if I got them out okay. I think I did. I think they're okay. Looks like 3 very large Okinawan sweet potatoes. Very large ones. So, and the thing to note is it seems like these sweet potatoes, as opposed to the other ones, these seem to go right below the plant. So straight below the plant is where you're going to get your crop. Doesn't look like it spreads out in any way. So if you want a lot of them, it looks like you're really going to have to plant a lot of plants, because the crop itself is, while these 3 are huge, there was only 3, and the other one I had 5. But I am super happy with these huge Okinawan sweet potatoes. Now the problem is going to be figuring out which ones to eat and which ones to save. I'm going to set them out next to the other ones and let you see the final picture. Okay, so this is the final harvest of the Okinawan sweet potatoes. And I got, looks like 6 good sized, large sized sweet potatoes. And it looks like maybe 2 small ones, and then 1 tiny one that's probably smaller than, it's not useful at all. But very happy with this harvest. While there's not a large number of them, there is some good sizes in there. And I had read when I purchased these slips that the harvest wasn't expected to be that large. So we grew them in a mix of sand, peat moss, compost, and some potting soil.
So, and a little bit of vermiculite, a little bit of perlite, and actually a little bit of rice hulls as well. And we planted them in July. They had a very late start, so I wanted to keep them in the ground as long as I could, and it looked like that helped a lot, as they are of a very good size, and I was anticipating some small sweet potatoes. So it looks like it's a good harvest. I'm hoping to get them started much earlier next year. So it's been a good harvest. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.